the best thing you can do is download the Spreaker app. It's a totally free app. It's called the Spreaker app, Spreaker. You download that, you type in Balls Deep Sports Talk, boom, as soon as I am done with the week's new episode, I get it uploaded. Takes a little while, not too terribly long, but then when it's uploaded, you can listen to it instantly, immediately, whenever you like, 24/7. So I highly, highly recommend downloading the Spreaker app. While you're there listening to Balls Deep Sports Talk, make a point to click the little heart or thumb thing or whatever. I don't exactly know what it is or what it does, but I know that it helps, or at least I'm told that it helps. And we are dangerously close, ladies and gentlemen. Balls Deep Army, I'm calling you out. We are dangerously close to being available on iHeartRadio. Yes, that is right. In less than one full year, we have almost made it to iHeartRadio as just a DIY show, podcast, whatever. So, like I said, one of the best things you can do to help us achieve that here by our 1-year anniversary, which will be coming up in, 12 episodes, is listen to the show on Spreaker. Listen to as many episodes as you want as you can. I believe it goes by, there's a ton of old episodes on there of the show, of Balls Deep Sports Talk. So while you're on there listening to the show, I want to say it counts minutes, the total time that you're listening to each of the episodes. But it also does keep track of likes, hearts, thumbs up, whatever the heck their thing is. And with enough plays and enough hours and enough likes, we get on iHeartRadio. And I have been informed that the numbers keep going up and we're getting extremely close to that. So if you could continue to help make that happen, I would greatly appreciate it. If for some crazy reason you don't or can't use the Spreaker app and you want your Balls Deep right away, the show is also available immediately after upload on SoundCloud and on YouTube as well. But so then Thursday nights it will be airing at 7 p.m. Central Standard Time on WNLMradio.com, as well as the TuneIn app, if you have the TuneIn app. But so there is all of our different broadcasting platform news, and you would already know all of this if you simply followed the show on Twitter, which would make me super happy. Our Twitter handle is at BDST Show. Really simple. Again, that's at BDST Show. I retweet a lot of sports news, so that's an added benefit of, as well as the show news and things like that. Or you can like and friend me on Facebook. Search Scotty-Ball. Again, that's Scotty-Ball on Facebook. Alright, so I think that's all of the show news, all of the plugs, everything that we gotta, cross off the list for disclaimers and whatnot before we get, down and dirty, as we like to here every week, and go balls deep. Alright, well, everybody place your final wagers down on what you think the opening topic is going to be. You got your bets placed? Alright, well, this week, for our hit opening segment, say it with me, everybody, 3, 2, 1, Balls on Fire. Yours truly, Scotty Ball, is on fire about Ronda Rousey getting her ass whooped. I mean, oh my God. If you did not see the fight, fights, but the fight this last weekend at UFC 193, the main event of UFC 193 this past Saturday in Melbourne, Australia, featuring undefeated bantamweight super champ of the world Ronda Rousey losing to Holly Holm in the second round via knockout. It was incredible. Now, okay, before we get too deep into the Ronda fight, all the other fights, all that stuff, let me just tell you how my fight night played out for me. It was a rare fight night where I didn't have to attend my primary job. I did have the night off, in air quotations. So I made a point to watch as many of the prelim fights on Fox Sports 1 or Fox Sports, whatever the heck it's called. It was channel 150 on my Dish network. But they show all the prelim fights on there before every UFC event. So I made a point to sit down and watch as many of those as I could. A lot of good hometown people on there that the crowd was really behind from Australia. A phenomenal. Speaking of the crowd in Australia, the attendance broke the record for highest turnout at a UFC event in its history. So kudos to everyone in Australia and Dana White and everyone else booking at UFC for making that happen. I bring that up because, well, A, because it's interesting, but B, I heard a lot of talk in the week leading up to and the week after a fight that the reason it was in Australia, in fact, was because the Holm Rousey main event simply wouldn't sell in Vegas or anywhere else in the United States. And that's why, one of the main reasons, primary reasons why it ended up in Australia, because people had grown tired, bored with, the unbeatable Ronda Rousey and the competition that's supposed to give her the, biggest challenge she's ever had yet, that continually gets embarrassed in under a minute. And I don't know, maybe we'll touch on that a little more. But anyway, getting back to my original story. So I watched the prelims on Fox Sports, and then you come 9 o'clock, spend some family time. Would have been great to get to Buffalo Wild Wings, or just, click the yes purchase button on my Dish network. But, seriously, who wants to throw down $60 to watch, a 2 to 3 hour event of any kind? Like, on a TV, if you're not there in person. Like, man, damn, as Ron Simmons would say, damn. But so I did the whole family thing for a little while. That wrapped up. It was about 11 o'clock, and I had said, boy, as long as Ronda's fight doesn't start, too early, come 11 o'clock, it'd be great if I could at least, worst case scenario, go to Buffalo Wild Wings, which is about 20 minutes from my house, a 20 to 25 minute drive from my house to my nearest Buffalo Wild Wings. And so it was about, 11:05, 11:10, somewhere in there. And I looked on Twitter, and it's commented on the fight with Joanna before the Ronda fight on Twitter, saying from just a minute ago that fight was like in the first round or whatever. So I was like, okay, sweet, that fight just got started. That fight will have to end, wrap up, preview for the main event, and then the main event. Like, I think that's enough time for me to get in there. I'm going to try it. So I hopped in my car and I booked it to frickin' Buffalo Wild Wings. And sure enough, I get to Buffalo Wild Wings, pull in the parking lot, literally like with the last 60 seconds of the promo video for the Holm Rousey fight playing, and then immediately into the first entrance, which was Holly Holm. So I was on cloud 9 that I just made it and had that timing and was able to see the fight. Holly comes out seeming very confident. Ronda kept her waiting in there for a little bit. Pretty standard gamesmanship, though. Ronda comes out looking as intimidating as ever. Totally got her game face on. A few people said she looked soft. I disagree with that. I don't think from a conditioning or physique standpoint that she in any way looked soft. But that's just my opinion. But so she came out, had her big entrance, and then my main man, I tweeted this to him and Dana White, as a matter of fact, on Saturday last week. My main man, Bruce Buffer, the announcer, the fighter, the pre-fight announcer in the octagon. Let's get ready to rumble. That guy. At least I think that's the same guy. I don't know. He does it the same way. But anyway, he comes out. He's firing everybody up. He's Dana White's goldmine. Like, he's the most consistent, great performer in UFC. Just a nugget, throwing that out there. Like, over the history of the UFC, the greatest performer in UFC history is Bruce Buffer. If you're willing to think outside the box, which we're willing to think both outside the box and inside the box here at Balls Deep Sports Talk. But anyway, Bruce Buffer announces him as only he can, fighting out of the blue corner and fighting out of the red corner, Ronda Rousey. So they did the announcements, bring them together. All right, have a good clean fight. Blah 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 blah. Holly puts her gloves out in the standard fighter, pre-fight offering and symbol of respect. Ronda looks down at Holly's gloves and abruptly turns around, walks to her corner, and gets ready to fight, denying Holly the respect, the glove tap. And myself, as well as everyone else in the Buffalo Wild Wings, immediately at that moment, it was like it just... This whole fight had a great big fight feel to it, from weigh-ins, promos, pre-fight, everything, interviews, you name it. But so anyway, let's get it on. Fight takes place. First 10 to 30 seconds, they're both feeling each other out a little bit. Not used to seeing Ronda in that type of fight for a long time anyway. But it took less than a minute into the first round of the fight for me to comment to the person sitting next to me, holy S, Holly can strike Ronda. Ronda's going to lose. I went into this a huge Ronda guy. I'm still a huge Ronda guy. I love Ronda Rousey. I don't necessarily like Ronda Rousey a whole lot, because she's got plenty of things about her personality that can, be off-putting depending on what side of things you're on. But I love her, and the reason I love her is because I find her, love in an admiration and respect sort of way. But the reason I love Ronda Rousey is because she's fascinating, she's interesting, she's intriguing. There's nothing boring about her at all. And my one knock on Holly, both before and after, would just be, she's very kind of bland, cookie cutter when it comes to charisma and personality. But boy, when it comes to fighting, that girl can fight. She's a 13-time boxing champion, and now she's a UFC champion as well. I want to say she's the only person to have world titles in boxing and UFC, or at least at the same time, or I don't know exactly what the details on that stat are, but I heard something to that effect since the fight ended. But so we're back in the first round. We're a minute into it, and like I said, I can tell, okay, Holly can strike Ronda. This is not good for Ronda. Ronda then proceeded to have just the worst, dumbest, most wrong, counterproductive game plan for the entire remainder of the fight that she possibly could. She tried to fight on her feet in a brawling fashion when the majority of her dominance was built off of finishing fights via submission, and her